Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us again today for another live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you tips, tricks, techniques, things that I do every day in my own voiceover business, and then we get together in these weekly chats to talk about a topic or two. If you're not new here, then you know every week we have a new poll. And this week the poll is, where do you book most non-audiobook work? We talk about audiobooks a lot here on my channel, so I figured we would talk about the voiceover side of things. And so far, if you haven't submitted to the poll yet, go ahead and do that. But we have, looks like about 21 votes so far. Vast majority of you said not booking anything yet. Good. So I'm hoping that we can help you guys out in figuring out which direction to go or be a little better educated at the end of this session. Oh, we got some votes. Oh, we got votes changing. Okay, so it's still the vast majority of you. So 68% of you said not booking yet. 9% of you said Fiverr, Upwork mostly. 13% of you, 13% of you said direct clients only. 9% of you said casting sites like Voice123, Bidalgo. There's lots of them. Okay, so we're going to talk about the freelance sites, particularly, namely Fiverr and Upwork, but we can talk about the others too. And then also finding ways to win your own direct clients and how to get them. And of course, as always, this isn't always just about me. If you have something to share with the community, this is a community chat. I'm just the host. So if you have something to share, please share it. If you have some secret sauce to share with the group, please do that. But ultimately, what we're going to do here today is talk about, I have some notes here because my memory is garbage. But the freelance sites, when you sign up on them, most people start on the freelance sites. And I say the same because it's the fastest way to sort of find your groove and to sort of get used to everything in terms of winning orders, handling clients, figuring out your rates, managing time and deadlines and things like that. The freelance sites are great for that. But ultimately, you don't want to put all of your voiceover eggs in those baskets. You want to ultimately diversify as much as possible, and not just on the sites, right? Get onto all of the sites eventually, but you also want to get your own clients. People ask about agents too. I think I'm not opposed to having agents, but I think in this day and age, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't want to say agents are a bad thing, but the amount of work that you could expect from agents is probably equal to what you would get on casting sites, let's just say. So it is another avenue for work. I personally don't have any agents. I've done just fine without them. I think at some point, maybe, but we'll see. But I guess freelance sites will help you get started, but don't rely on them forever. You want to have your own website, ultimately. I would say have a website while you're still building yourself up. I mean, get your website done sooner than later, I guess is what I'm saying. But your own website is where you want most of your clients, where you want to direct most of your traffic. So clients can contact you and book you directly, because that sort of cuts out the fees. It cuts out the middleman, right? Because if you work on these freelance sites, most of them are going to take 20% of what you earn or more. Some of them want a membership fee and a percentage, right? So if you're getting direct clients, then you get to keep everything that you have billed, basically. I also want to, throughout the course of this chat, sort of demystify how you get clients and make it not as scary. It's a little intimidating, I think, for people in the beginning to reach out. Like, who do I reach out to? How do I find them? And what do I say? We'll talk about that today. We've talked a few times about finding clients. And I think starting out with just a simple Google search, right, is going to find tons of not only local businesses that could potentially need a voiceover for multiple different, aspects of their business, but nationwide, worldwide. Because remember, voiceover is remote business. As long as you have Wi-Fi, you can work, basically. You deliver your product as a digital asset, so you could send that out worldwide. So you could potentially have global clients at your fingertips. You could find video producers, ad agencies, indie game developers, e-learning producers, companies that produce e-learning content. And if you're looking at audiobooks, you could even reach out to authors directly. You can do that. I think we get turned off for that, or about that. That is a turnoff. My brain's going 50 different directions. It's a turnoff for most people because we are in the age of spamming, scamming, right? We don't want to be perceived as one of those people, and I totally get that. However, if this is something that you want to do, you have to treat it as a business, and businesses have to market themselves. Otherwise, they don't know you're there. They just don't. You could spend a lot of time and money on that website, and if nobody knows it's there, then what good is it, right? Even if the SEO was great, you have to still drive traffic to it. So you could do that through email marketing. You could do that through cold calling. You could do that through, I think we talked last week. Was it last week? We talked about snail mail. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you could direct traffic to your website. And then learning how to follow up with these people too. Once you reach out to whomever to send them an email, make sure that you're following up. Maybe even 2 or 3 times. What was the statistic? I read a statistic once that it was you had to make contact or a touch point with a client sometimes up to 5 times before they buy. That's a lot of follow-up, but a reality, right? And then once you build a connection with a client, make sure that you treat them well. Be flexible, right? Answer right away. Make sure that you're wearing your customer service hat when dealing with clients. Be grateful for them. Because if you treat them well, they'll treat you well in return most of the time. They'll refer you out to other businesses. They'll refer you out to other people within their industry, right? Free marketing is the best marketing. Let's see. I'm just checking my notes here. I think in terms of Fiverr and Upwork, these are also quick ways to find your first clients, right? I think we talked about that a little bit about managing deadlines and things, but there is also the possibility of these clients reaching out to you outside of the platform. Do not talk about personal details within these platforms. That's a big no-no. But what I'm saying is that if your username on these platforms is here goes my brain again. I tell people when they sign up for these different online platforms to think about what you're going to be known by. And then whatever that name is, make sure that name is what you're known by on every platform and your website. Because, going back to what I was saying about Fiverr and Upwork, if they see your username and they don't want to work on the platform, they don't want to pay the fees, and you don't want to pay the fees, they will search your username and hopefully find your website and then reach out to you directly that way. So these online platforms are great for many reasons, but they shouldn't be the only source of income for you. And not only that, but these freelance websites like Fiverr and Upwork or Voice123 or whatever, the clients that you make or build relationships with belong to that platform. They're not your clients. They belong to the platform. And if anything ever happens with your profile, like if your account ever gets restricted, or, you know, if you get maybe even something you didn't even do and your account gets taken away, there goes all your income, right? So there's definitely pros and cons to these website freelance marketplaces. I think we can also, just going through my notes here, I don't want to forget anything. In terms of what to say. So I jotted down a quick little template here. So for when you're doing cold emails, you could do a subject line, something like professional voiceover for their company or their project. You could say, hi, I came across your company or your project, whatever it is, insert it there. I really enjoyed this specific thing that they were doing. I specialize in this kind of VO work and thought my voice would be a great fit for your upcoming projects. Here's a quick link to my demo, and then you insert a link to your demo. Just something that is short, sweet, and fits what kind of work that their company does, right? You want to make sure it's relevant, right? So if you're reaching out to a video production company, you don't want to send them an audiobook demo, right? You want to show them something that's a little bit more relevant than that. Would love to chat and see how I can help bring your next script to life. Are you open to a quick call or an email this week? Thank you for your time. And then your name, your signature, and a link to your website. Something short and sweet. But this requires you to do a little research on the people that you're reaching out to. So whether that's LinkedIn, whether that's Google, whatever vehicle you're using to find information on these people, then you want to make sure that you're paying attention. You know, you're taking notes even perhaps on what they're doing, what kind of content that they're creating, so you can, you know, tailor your script for that. What is going on in the chat with the snails? Sorry, that just caught my eye. I know I'm probably forgetting quite a bit, but let's go over to the chat and see what kind of questions you guys have. And again, if you have something that has worked for you, or if you just prefer the sites over direct marketing, then share that too. So let's go over to the comments and see what everybody's up to today. I noticed that there's the little crowns in the chat. You won't see them on StreamYard when I put them on the screen, but they are in YouTube. Oh, that reminds me. Huge win for us today. For those of you that don't know, YouTube is now demonetizing anything AI. So that's something to celebrate. So all of those AI generated faceless videos that use AI voice, AI content, it's not a real person. Those are being demonetized starting today. So that's a pretty good win for those of us that don't use AI or dare I say against AI. That's a pretty big win, so we should celebrate that. Also, today is my sister's birthday. So if you're watching, I love you. Happy birthday. It's a big one today. It's a milestone. All right, let's get over to the comments. Paul was here pretty early. Hey, Paul, good morning. Good morning to you. Paul was here shortly after. Hey, Paul. Paul says, hi, Angela et al. Good day from Dunmow, UK. I've been spectacularly unsuccessful with both Fiverr and Upwork. The latter, mainly because there are so few opportunities for British VO at a sensible budget. I think global freelance marketplaces you've better opportunities on them, I think, than trying to find specific clients for, well, no, because you could have clients that were local to you. But you're right. I don't see a whole lot of, maybe because just, hang on, now I'm thinking that it's just because my search is filtered for US. What I'm trying to say, unsuccessfully, is that much like ACX, much like any other freelance marketplace that is mostly global, like ACX isn't completely global, but mostly global. Okay, tangent. The jobs are going to come in, they're going to come and go all throughout the day. So unless you have, do they have alerts? I don't think Upwork has alerts. Maybe they do. I'll have to go back and check because I get alerts for things sometimes. If there's an alert that you can send that it'll notify you when something becomes available for your specific accent, you could do that. But you're right, they're not going to have tons of jobs for a specific accent all the time. It's just something that you're going to have to just check in with from time to time. But I think you might be better off doing some direct marketing. I mean, you should anyway. You know, diversify as much as possible when it comes to where your income comes from, right? Then Caesar was here. Hey, Caesar. Oh, hi, Angela. I've actually done most of my work through direct clients. That's kept me busy. My work is diversified between audiobook narration, sound engineering, websites, etc. I haven't felt the need to look into Fiverr or Upwork yet, but I may at some point. I've been curious. I think, Caesar, at this point, you're probably just fine doing what you're doing. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, it's just another way for people to find you. But I think you're busy enough as it is with just your direct clients. So I don't know if you would have the bandwidth even take on babysitting, building these sites out, to be honest. They do take some time. They are a little bit tedious, especially in the beginning, making sure that you're keeping up with the clients, you're responding to questions and inquiries, you know, in a timely manner. That takes just time that I don't think that you have right now, Caesar, to be honest. Dwight is here. Hey, Dwight. Good morning, mentor extraordinaris, Angela, and my fellow VO aficionados. I hope this day finds you doing well and enjoying life. It's a great day so far. Caesar says, that said, hello, everyone. It appears I now have a purple crown. Yeah, for those of you on the live chat, if you're an active chatter, I suppose, then it gives you a crown as a top fan. That's kind of cool. Very excited for this week's Platinum Workshop activity. Yep, Caesar has been helping me out with this week's class in our Platinum group. Looking forward to that. dual and duet narration. Dwight says, most of my work has been through direct contact at conventions, diners, drive-ins, and dives. Word of mouth mostly, mine, that is. That is definitely another way to build your book of business for direct clients. In addition, and that was something else that I did make notes of where to find direct clients. Not only LinkedIn and Googling these companies and then looking at the website, doing a little research on the website to see what kind of work they do, make sure you're taking notes, and then going to the About Us or the Contact Us and see if there's an individual that you should be directing these inquiries to or your cold email to. In addition to those, you also have ad agencies, marketing firms, podcast producers, your local mom and pop shops in your own community, getting onto the Chamber of Commerce, going to cons like Dwight mentioned, and that's anime cons, book cons, comic cons, any kind of conventions that you have coming into your town or your area. Get your business cards and go there. Make some connections. Networking, right? Self-publishing authors who need audiobooks. You could reach out to authors. If you found a book on Amazon, perhaps, and they had just self-published and they have not created an audiobook version of it yet, you can reach out to them directly. Most of the time, they'll have an author's page on Amazon that will have their actual website listed. So you could go to their website, do a little research on them, and shoot them a message and ask them if they were considering creating an audiobook version of their book. Audiobooks are still gaining in popularity. I think a lot of people in today's age with, everyone's so busy, go, go, go. Most people consume their books in the audiobook version. They'll listen while they're, multitasking, doing something else. So audiobooks are still growing in popularity, and most readers will expect to have that option, right? Not only that, but then you also have people that are sight impaired, that need the audiobook version to enjoy the book. So reaching out to an author is something you could definitely do. You could reach out to schools, universities, businesses, trainers to see if they need a voice for whatever content they are creating for their education purposes. Game developers, animation studios, indie creators of any kind of sort, content creators on social media. Especially now that some of these platforms are cracking down on AI generated content, now is the time that you should really be reaching out for a human voice. Right? Exactly. I think I mentioned that about not spamming people. Did I touch on that? For your emails, to not just have like a copy and paste spam email. Personalize them. Take the time to personalize them a little bit, because it shows that you're invested, that you've done the research, right? That you're not just spamming a bunch of people. Holy tangent. Dwight says, sure, I got a crown too. Second to the master himself. Yeah, I like the little crowns. That's kind of cool. Paul says, what's with the crowns? Dwight says, love the new Apollo effects setup and my new DAW effects rack that my friend Caesar did for me. Thank you again, little brother. He is the man. Yeah, the crowns appear to be a new XP thing. What do you get with the XP, though? Does anybody know? What do you get with the XP, other than a crown? Caesar says to Dwight, happy to help. Thank you for allowing me to vicariously experience your Apollo twin. Abe is here. Abe Froman. How you doing, buddy? Good morning all from Nashville. Slow down, Angela. No other VO work booked yet. Just set up my Fiverr account hoping to change that. But with the Magnum project I just got on ACX, maybe not. Jules says, good morning all. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. So far, so good. So far, so good. Masonry Construction says, VO work for me also includes talking head videos, teleprompters, short commercials, etc., but mostly audio. To his point, I have been seeing an increase in like a talking head video. Think about like user-generated content, sort of content, where people on TikTok, Instagram Reels, they have a product, they have a service, but they don't like their own face or their own voice for whatever reason. They want to hire an individual to read a script and promote their product, sort of represent the company, or sort of like a how-to or a testimonial even of their product. Those are starting to really, I'm seeing a lot more of those in my inboxes lately, to be the face or the voice of their project or their product. So I'm throwing out there some ideas to get your creative juices flowing, but there's a lot more that you can do as a voice actor than just offer audio, if you choose. David is here. Hey, David, from Hamilton, Ontario. Good morning, good morning. Jules says, I got my first 2 clicks on Fiverr yesterday, but I still need to finish filling out my offerings. Yes, you do. And if you are getting onto Fiverr and Upwork, please take the time to fully complete your profiles and your gigs. You want to get them to be 100%. Meaning, let's talk about Fiverr. If you fill out your profile, but you post 1 gig and it's only got perhaps, you've got barely any kind of description, you have no FAQs, you only have 1 audio sample, 1 image, no video, no PDFs, that's not 100%. Take the time to fill out the gig 100%, because if you think about it from Fiverr's perspective, they've spent millions of dollars in marketing to get people to come to their site. They're not going to embarrass themselves by showing this client that they spent all this money to obtain to get them to click on their site. They're not going to show them freelancers that look like they aren't really invested in this, right? They want to show those clients freelancers that have taken the time to fill out everything, to have a complete gig. So think about it that way. Also with Upwork too. Take the time to fill out everything that you can fill out. Glowin says, top of the day to you, voiceover Angela and chat. Hope you have fresh coffee and ready for tangulants. Even if you aren't ready for tangulants, you're going to get them. And the coffee is not hot. It's sort of tepid. But caffeine-y. Need the caffeine. Alicia's here. Hello all. My cup of tea says morning. Voiceover by Forever Young says morning from Nancy in South Dakota. Welcome, Nancy. Ken P says morning all from sunny Alberta. Kat is here. Hey, Kat. Hiya from Washington. Haven't started recording yet. Trying to figure out Adobe Audition and not able to get it to start, but I'll ask about it in Platinum. That's interesting. Yep, I'm sure you've probably already popped in Discord, and I'm sure a lot of people have already tried to help. It's probably a setting. It's like one setting somewhere that needs to be clicked or unclicked. It's usually what it is. It's just one button that causes all the issues. Glowin says, I don't book yet, just finally building my ACX profile. Assuming I land gigs and become professional at this, then I'll move on to Fiverr and Upwork type platforms. Platforms. And that's how I started too. I started on ACX, and then I created a profile on Fiverr and then Upwork, and then slowly sort of branched out to all of the others, like voices.com, Voice123, Badalgo, Voice Planet, Voice Jungle, Voice Giant. I mean, there's all kinds of them. And then there's also Anthony Pica's Academy Voices. So check that out. We got some exciting things coming with a VO's journey, by the way. So if you're not already a student or a member, definitely think about that. A VO's Journey Academy is pretty much a one-stop shop to learn, grow, and then join Academy Voices and earn some jobs also. So check that out. I got a link for you down in the description if you want to check it out. Glowen then says, as soon as I can bank some additional coins, I'll get my website. Currently working on samples, and this coming weekend, I'll do IG and TikTok. You could go on to most of the website host. There's Wix, there's, oh God, why can't I think of any? GoDaddy, I use Wix. Let's just stick with Wix because I know Wix. I could have a free website with Wix. It's a simple one-pager. It's got Wix's branding on it, but at least you have a digital home base started. So if you don't already have a website, start to look around at all the different website hosts that are out there and do some price comparison. Look at what they offer. And if they do offer a free website version, most of them do. But look at pricing, because eventually you'll want to convert that free website into a paid website and purchase the domain name and all of those things. So start to take a look at all of those and then decide which one you want to go with. But most of them, as far as I know, will allow you to create a free version. So at least you have something available online. And then when you go to start promoting on Instagram and TikTok, you can direct traffic to your website. You should definitely have a website sooner rather than later. Masonry Construction says, newbies, it takes lots of time to become an overnight sensation in VO. Do tons and tons of ACX auditions. Approach it as a pro sports hopeful does. You toil in non-paid and low-paid to get found. Yeah, and I think that's all just perception, really. Right? The overnight success. In most cases, it's not. You know, what you don't see is what all of these successful people have done in the past to get to where they are. They just seem like they're an overnight sensation, but you don't know what happened behind the scenes to get them to that point, right? I mean, you see me on YouTube and you might think that I'm, a super successful voice. So I do okay. Right? I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I have my own business, but, it took a lot to get there. It took a lot of lowball offers and being very flexible in what I wanted to do, and sometimes doing something that I didn't really want to do in order to get to where I am. Right? You guys don't see that. You guys never saw any of that. But I think that happens with most of us. I'm not saying do stuff that you're uncomfortable with. I'm not saying do that. I mean, the beauty of being a business owner is that you can decide what you do want to do and what you don't want to do. That makes sense? Andrew is here. Hey, Andrew. Good morning from San Francisco Bay Area. Tasty snails. Tanya says, yay. Good morning from LA. Good morning. They're so annoying. Yeah, demonetized AI. About freaking time. Yep, starting today. Rustic Hillbilly. Good morning. Jules, woohoo, more work for us. Yes, this is a big win. Demonetizing AI is definitely a big win for us, for sure. New 001 says, good morning, guys. My first 2 books just went live yesterday and today. Congratulations. A little hiccup I had was not crediting myself in the introduction. Egg on my face. Oh, what do you mean? Like in the credits, and they allowed it to go through without crediting you? Without as the narrator? What do you mean? You didn't crediting yourself? What do you mean? Andrew, slow down, brain. Andrew says, yippee, happy birthday, sis. Yes. Thank you for keeping it PG, Rebecca. Yes, happy birthday to my sister. Masonry Construction says, congratulations. Now do it again, but make sure that you credit yourself this time. Masonry Construction says, almost every alert I've gotten from Fiverr or Upwork has been for projects I turned down, such as selling my voice to some AI mill. I get them too. I mean, every company that does this kind of thing is going to try their hand at, they think someone's going to bite somewhere, and I bet you they do. Because again, it's your prerogative, for your business of whether you want to allow someone to do make an AI model of your voice or not. That's your prerogative. You can do that, and I'm sure a lot of people take them up on it. I haven't. I won't. But that doesn't mean that maybe it wouldn't work for you, And you're going to see more and more of those, but I would much rather that they present it as a job that I can choose to do it or not do it, or to take it or not take it, versus trying to, tell me it's something else and then trick me into, giving my voiceover for AI modeling. I would much rather that they presented it as an option than trickery, to scam me. So I'm happy about that. I'd much rather have it presented to me that way. Voiceover by Forever Young says, in reference to YouTube demonetizing AI, how deep does that get? For example, if you use a pic or video that has been tweaked via Canva or another AI, would that also be included in the demonetization? I am not sure about all of the ins and outs. I just got the news yesterday that this was happening today. I don't know. I would check with, I'm sure the details are somewhere on YouTube, but I think it mostly pertains to if you're not an actual, like a real creator like myself, like if you never show your face, if you're always using AI generated voice or video or AI generated anything, if your channel consists of only AI generated content, I would imagine that's who they're targeting. But if I were to use something on Canva and show you, like I have in lots of my videos, but it's still me, it's still my channel as a person, as a real person, right? I don't think that is, but definitely check with YouTube for the details. It's probably the best way to go. Rebecca says, back on topic, good morning all. Audiobooks are my comfort zone, and well, it's comfortable here, so I haven't ventured into Fiverr or Upwork yet. And I would say the real benefit to at least creating a profile on Fiverr and Upwork is that your join date starts sooner. And the join date meaning, this is one of the ways that I sort of discern which clients I accept jobs from, is how long ago did they join this platform? Did they join this month and they have no reviews and they're offering me pie in the sky? Does it sound a little fishy? Those are the things that I take into consideration on when I'm deciding whether or not to work with a client. The same could be said for a freelancer. Did they just join this month? Are they brand new? Is it a possible scam? Are they going to be using an AI voice? Right? Those are the things that our clients also consider. So the sooner you can at least start a profile, that join date timer starts ticking. Does that make sense? So that would be, I think, if you don't plan on really creating gigs or anything yet, that's fine, but at least create a profile. And again, I want to impress upon you, think long and hard about what your username is going to be. What name do you want to be known by? And then choose your username for Fiverr, for Upwork, and make sure that they're all the same across the board, even including your website. That way you are searchable. So if someone were to put in VoiceOver Angela in Google, they're going to see all of the sites that I'm on, my website, everything that I've done with my moniker, voiceover Angela, and find me every which way, right, by using that one moniker or my name. So think about what you're going to be known by and use that everywhere. New 001 says you are still allowed to use AI tools. It just can't be in a hole crested by AI from what I read. It can't be a completely AI generated channel. Even if that's the case, that's still a huge win for us. That's a step forward. Absolutely. Caesar says, thank you, Angela. I sent a revised lesson plan through your Discord DM. Let me know if it's to your liking and I'll prep some visuals. You rock, Caesar. Created. Oh, the whole created by AI? Yeah. I know what you meant. Natalie's narration says, good morning. I'm late, so I brought donuts. Thank you, Natalie. I'm starving. I haven't tried Fiverr or Upwork yet. ACX is keeping me busy right now, but I'll probably venture out at some point. That's good that ACX is keeping you busy. Glowin says, in regards to AI, I've used AI to create my samples. If I mention they are AI created and not copyright restricted, will that be okay on ACX? What do you mean they are AI created? What do you mean that your samples on ACX are created by AI? What does that mean, Glowin? Jules says, Glowin, that's a good question. If you use AI to generate copy for you to read, what impacts does that have? Oh, do you mean for your copy? I don't think that's going to be an issue. Besides, I wouldn't use just straight ChatGPT. What ChatGPT gives you for copy. I would use it as a starting point. Yes, ask it to help you make copy, but change it a little bit. Right? It's a good starting point for those of us that can't really write anything on our own or can't think of anything to talk about for copy. Use it to create copy, but put your own little spin or your own little twist on it. Rochelle says, good morning, Angela and all. Crowns. How cool. I haven't started booking yet. Still need to get Fiverr and my website going. Getting through this first book is a great learning curve. Yeah, that first book is going to teach you just about everything you need to. It's a great crash course in audiobook production, that first book. You learn a whole lot more by just doing that than you ever will by watching a ton of videos. For sure. But definitely get your website. If not Fiverr and Upwork, at least get your website going. Because that builds your credibility also for authors on ACX. If they're looking for narrators on ACX and they see your name, they like your sample. Again, you have to remember that clients are just as, if they're looking for a human voice, they don't want an AI voice. So they want to make sure that you're not going to be using an AI voice generator. They don't know who you are. They don't know if you're someone that has a somewhat normal name, but you're going to be using an AI voice generator. So have a website, right? That'll help to sort of quell some of the fears that these authors will have looking for a narrator. If you have a website with, different samples and maybe projects that you've done, more information about you, then that's going to solidify your place as a professional and not an AI generated voice. So another reason to have a website sooner versus later. It is something that definitely cannot be put on the back burner. At least have a free one-pager. Have something. Have a website sooner rather than later. For sure. Musical Crafts with Miss Juliet says, thank you, Angela. The live chats are very helpful. Thanks for giving an example of what to say when contacting someone, but I do need a website. Can I still get started without one? You can, but again, get a website. It is more important than you think. It is more important than you think. Yes, and click all my buttons. Click all the buttons. Do all the YouTubey things. Andrew says Namecheap offers dirt cheap web hosting with a good website builder. Namecheap? That's a new one. There you go. Go check out Namecheap. Masonry Construction says early on, like now, buy a domain name so that you own it. You can host it for less than $10 a month. No excuses. There you go. No excuses. Clowen says, thank you for the advice. I will spend some time this afternoon looking at the free version until I have the coins to pay Caesar for a website. Hold on. I gotta turn on my air conditioner. It's getting hot in here. It's like 93 degrees. Whose idea was it to move to the desert? That's what I want to know. Rochelle says, fantastic information, Angela. Thank you. I hear other mentioned that they'll do this one thing, then the next. Can you do a video on the steps of building up on things to do? Oh, you mean like, okay. So like the tasks you should be focusing on in the beginning. I think I do have at least one video here on my channel that covers that. Something to the effect of, do you want to be a voiceover actor or a audiobook narrator? Do this first. Something like that in the title. I do have a couple of those of what you should be doing. But I can make another one that's a little bit more specific as far as like tasks. But then again, this will only be maybe what I have done and not necessarily the right or the wrong way to do it, because everybody's path is going to be a little bit different. And there really isn't one straight linear path from start to finish. It's wide ranging. It's a big branched tree that could go. I mean, you could start from point A, the same point everybody else starts at. And then according to your schedule, your availability, your price point, your offerings, whatever it is, it may branch out to a bajillion different directions. But I could create a video that was just like, this is what I have done. And to be honest, I think I at least have one or two of those already. Rochelle says, and happy birthday to your sis. Yes. It's a milestone. It's a biggin'. I hope she's up and watching. She's probably not. She's probably wrangling children at the moment. They're still on summer vacation. New 001 says, no, it just wouldn't pass ACX standards, so it sat for a while before I eventually had to ask them what was up, and they flagged that as the problem. Okay, so you fixed it. So you are credited in the credits. Good. I gotcha. Life Unleashed says, hi all, sorry I'm late. Gotta bring the donuts. Glowing, gotta bring the donuts. Joy says, hello, Angela and company. Is it too warm for fudge brownies? Heck no. It's never too warm for fudge brownies. What are you talking about, Joy? Do you know me at all? Gosh. Masonry construction. I'm thinking about brownies now. Just checked out about the YouTube demonetization thing, and they have a great explanation. Angela's right. It's not a complete stop, but low effort, obvious stuff, and so forth. Good. I mean, any kind of demonetization for AI-generated content is a good step forward. I mean, it's no longer the wild, wild west of AI tools that we're living in. They're slowly starting to regulate what can and cannot be used, right? So that's a good thing. Every little baby step forward, every little regulation and policy put in place is going to lead to more regulations and protections for us. So it's a good step forward. Glowen says, I use ChatGPT to create sample scripts and read. Okay. I don't think that would be an issue. However, I would still put my own personal spin on them, just to be sure. Just to err on the side of caution. Masonry Construction says, I'd love to see ACX disallow crap book content. How else can you explain a single author publishing a half dozen or more books the same day each month? And now that YouTube is demonetizing completely AI generated content, that could be a step in that direction. At some point, although Audible is promoting AI generated voices for audiobooks, I mean, I think the pushback on that is at some point going to break. At some point, they're going to have to start not allowing these completely AI generated completely generated books, the books that were written completely 100% by ChatGPT or whatever AI tool, that will be prohibited. I'm hoping that is where we're going, but it's going to take time. It's going to take these, these small little baby steps to be put in place first. So keep your fingers crossed and remain positive. Voiceover by Forever Young says, referring to username, is it recommended to use your own name as Nancy Young or use Voiceover by Forever Young, which would be easier to remember and to search for? I could tell you that I chose Voiceover Angela because it had voiceover in it and it had my name in it. So to your point, although I think Voiceover by Forever Young is a little bit long, what if you did something like Voiceover Young, or, I mean, just so it had the elements that were searchable in it, or Forever Young voices, Forever Young voiceover. You know what I mean? You could take the elements of that and just sort of play with it a little bit, I suppose. Get creative. But whatever you choose, use that everywhere. Keep it the same. Keep it consistent everywhere. Dwight says, Claude is a better AI for writing samples, but take Angela's advice seriously, as she is right. Change what it creates and improve it by making some changes and make it yours. I still have not used Claude. I hear Claude all the time, but I've never used it. Caesar says, nah, Glowin pays me for therapy and back rubs, but sure, he may also want a website. Shh, don't tell everyone. Abby Book says, I don't have a website yet, but I do have a business social media involving books, which I linked. I think it helps to make me seem more human. Absolutely. I mean, anything that we can do to show that we are not a talking head with an AI-generated voice, because you're going to start to see more and more of that stuff out there, especially with, what was that thing that Google just released that can create these crazy AI videos that look so realistic, right? So there's going to be more and more of, like, is this really a person? You know, the question's gonna be on top of everybody's mind who's not looking for something AI generated. So anything that you can do to sort of solidify your humanity is a good thing. Musical Crafts with Miss Juliet says, hello, everyone. Also, good Lord, what is wrong with me today? Last week's live chat was very helpful. I'm glad I can go back to listen to any of your listens. I'm glad I subscribed. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Although I'm struggling with words today. I apologize. Masonry Construction says, tip, if you are struggling with a popular software, go to an AI like Gemini and ask for help. You'll get step-by-step help. Always patient. I used it for help with Airtable and Discord. I hear that too, that you can use, and I hear namely Gemini quite a bit for that kind of thing, for like how-tos to walk you through stuff. Rochelle says that's perfect. The video would give us a sort of base in getting started, like most important and yes, a task list. You're awesome. Thanks for considering a video. Oh yes, of course. I mean, I make content for you guys, so tell me what you want and I'll make content for you. Forever Young says, thanks for the help with the demonetization issue. It helps. Good. Stop it. He makes excellent meatloaf. Glowin says, I watched the videos on the Google AI personalities where they did a 2-person interview. The obvious AI generation was clearly evident. Yeah, I think it's just going to get better before it gets worse. You know, the AI is just going to get better and better and better. But again, don't let any kind of AI conversation freak you out or, you know, steal your dreams away of doing whatever creative project that you want to do, because I still believe and feel that it's going to be two different categories completely. It's going to be like already in YouTube and some other places, you have to indicate whether or not this was completely, whatever the content is completely AI generated, or if this is human, has like some sort of a human component to it. So it's already starting that, you know, that line is already created. It's going to be AI content, you know, like we said before, fast, dirty, cheap, or free in some instances, or high quality human generated content. The same goes with, you know, photography, video creation, voiceover, audiobooks. It's, you know, AI, fast, dirty, cheap, or high quality human content, right? So don't panic. I can hear some of you panicking already. It'll be two different categories of quality. And it's already starting to go that way, right? Masonry Construction says Gemini, because it is completely up-to-date. ChatGPT, which I also love, is based on data through September 2023. So not familiar with current software updates. I'm going to have to go check out Gemini and Claude. I hear them a lot. Jean says, I'm running into an issue where the only inquiries I'm getting via Fiverr are scams. I've had VO gigs up for almost 2 months now, and that's all I've gotten. Not sure what to do. I would say, just based on what you've said, we need to get more visibility on your gigs. So, and for any of you needing help with your Fiverr gigs, I offer like a Fiverr gig review. If you go to my website and go to the plans and pricing page, I have a Fiverr gig review that I have available for you. So all you do is purchase the package, give me your Fiverr username, and then I'll go in and I'll do like a video review of all your Fiverr gigs, or the pertinent ones, right? Whichever ones you want me to look at. But based on what you're telling me, it sounds like we need to get more visibility on your Fiverr gig. So that either means that your gigs or your profile is not completely filled out, that you're not getting pushed to the top more often, or there are some keywords that we need to take a look at. Maybe you need to revise your title or your tags, or it could be your price point. It could be really anything that's not allowing Fiverr's algorithm to push you to the top. They don't want to show you, or you're not being seen for some reason or another, right? And if you are being seen, if you are getting the impressions but you're not getting the clicks and the orders, then there's something going on with the pricing, the thumbnail, the way that you've described the gig. There's elements of your gig that we can probably flesh out a little bit better or a little bit more, for clients to feel more comfortable in engaging with you for work, right? It could be any number of things. But we have to remember that Fiverr is just playing the algorithm game, is understanding that it is an algorithm and we need to feed it appropriately to be shown to more and more clients. Angel says, how do you feel about a business name using VO versus the word voiceover? It's a good question, and a question that I considered myself when I was thinking about a business name. I chose voiceover because I don't know if everybody out there looking for voiceover would think of using the acronym VO. I think voiceover, I mean, the way I think about finding business, keeping business, marketing and things is make it as easy as possible for people to find you. So what words are they going to be using to find our services? They would probably use voiceover a whole lot more than they would be using VO. Unless they're in the business already. But even then, would they be using voiceover or VO? Would they be using voice talent, voice artist? I would suggest doing some Google searches of your own with using those words. Use voiceover, use voice talent, voice actor, voice artist, VO and see what results you get. That might help you to make that decision. But I chose voiceover because I think that's what people are going to be using most often to find my services. Glowen says to Jean, if your personal time permits, upload new samples every other day or daily if possible. It keeps you at the top of the pages. For ACX, not for Fiverr. Every time that you change your gig at all, if you make any kind of changes to your gig at all, that resets your place in the algorithm. So it could be that you changed maybe a tag or your title. I would say whatever changes you're going to make, take notes of the changes you want to make to your gigs on Fiverr and then do them all at once. Maybe, once every couple months or something like that. Because every time you make a change, it resets your place in the algorithm. And then it sort of takes weeks to sort of find that place in the algorithm for your gig based on what other clients are searching for, looking for, doing business with. So it takes a little bit of while for that algorithm to find your new place in it. So, and it could be a good change, right? If you make a change and then, your impressions skyrocket, then that was a great change. Or it could completely tank you and it's going to take a couple weeks to get back up to wherever the algorithm places you. But just keep in mind that any change you make, it's going to take weeks, maybe even a couple of months to find your new place in it. So don't make a bunch of changes to your Fiverr gigs all at one time. Within a short time period. Do them all at once and then let it sort of find your new place in it. Am I making any sense? I feel like I'm so scatterbrained today. Masonry Construction says, if you had the choice of domains between VoiceOver Angel and VO Angel, go with VoiceOver. That was kind of how I thought about it too, was using the word voiceover. First, right? Even preceding your name, because it would be searched for more often than your name would be. Abby Book says, something anyone can do to help when you write something is to ask AI to evaluate tone, atmosphere, etc. if you're writing your own scripts, just so you can double check. A tool, not a replacement. That's a great way to remember it too, is that these AI tools are just tools. They're meant to assist, right? To help, to improve workflows, things like that. They're not meant to replace you or to replace something that you do completely. And I know a lot of people will say, yeah, AI can be used to, you could create complete, what do they call them? Not workflows, but you can have AIs. I was just watching a video about this the other day. AI agents, I want to say, where you can build all of these tools to sort of do all of these other jobs for you, just using different AI agents, I think they were. But even then, it still would need some sort of a human element component, because you don't want to come off looking like a scammer, spammer, with whatever you're using the AI to do, unless it's just, back-end admin stuff, which I understand. But anyway, point is that they're tools to help, build your business or to run your business. They're not meant to replace you as the human component. Right? All right, let's take one last look over at the poll. So it still looks like the vast majority of you are not booking anything yet. In terms of non-audiobook work. So I'm hoping that something that was discussed today helped you a little bit. And if you're watching this in Team Replay, or if you're here live, and apart from what was already discussed, if there's something that you guys want to talk about as a community, then please let me know. Put it in the comments and we'll create another live chat in the weeks coming about whatever it is that you want to talk about. Or if there's some content that you'd like me to create to explain something, walk you through something. Or if you want the complete training package, again, go check out Avio's Journey Academy and Academy Voices. If you want a complete A to Z training, work, go check it out. There's a link in the description. We got one more. Abby Book says, shoot, I use AI to help me figure out what I can make for dinner with the ingredients I have. That's how I like to think of it. Not going to make my dinner for me, but it can help. Absolutely. There's a lot of AI tools out there, and I think we really need to get on top of learning about these. For those of you that don't know anything about ChatGPT at the very least, start learning about AI tools. They can really, really help you in running your business, starting your business. Because you don't want to be left behind. Right? Got to stay on top of trends and tools. And I got to take my own advice. I got to go learn about Claude and Gemini. But anyway, that's pretty much it for today's live chat. Thank you, everybody that showed up, for participating, for liking, subscribing, all of the YouTube-y things. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week. Oh, thank you. You guys are so sweet. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week for my Platinum group. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye.